million to your point, we would then be able to draw down $1 million on those contracts.
So on my hypothetical number, $2 million, which I didn't just pick that number out of the air, but by a mere change in paperwork structure, $1 million is generated, and you brought that idea to us. That's my understanding. Am I right?
Yes. He's very humble. Yes.
See, I just think that's incredibly remarkable that you had an idea, or somebody, a group of people, right? Because you're a nice guy. Where you just change some paperwork and $1 million shows up. I mean, extraordinary concept. And in talking with Ani this morning, I mean, that's not to speak to and then what, which I know you're working on. But I'm excited for y'all. I hope you are too. And I think it was Commissioner Fix that maybe influenced the commissioner's office saying to a number of different department heads and other electeds, think big. And we'll bring you down if we have to, but think big. And in that spirit, I'm really excited for you folks and for some of the things you've already initiated and those things to come. So really appreciate you being with us this morning. Thank you, Mr. President.
Aaron, I'd like to come down and visit you folks now that you've settled in a little bit. So if you could schedule something like that.
We'd love to have you.
Could I ask Rick if he has any additional comments?
Sure. I just want to say with that JFS contract, imagine we're transitioning from the city to the county. And that same day was when we transitioned all the JFS stuff over. So, we could have said, well, let's wait a year. We have too much going on. But that team there, made it happen and continues to make it happen. We had to staff up, or we're in the process of staffing up to be able to handle all the scheduling. There's just a lot of balls in the air, and I can't say enough about how, and they just roll with it, right? Because you're in transit. They're able to get through all of this. And JFS has been wonderful with being flexible in everything that they do. So, well, I will try to limit the puns in the future.
Yes.
No, you won't.
Okay. But anyway, the whole team just not being afraid to take this on in the middle of everything is why this is happening. So thank you.
Thank you all for what you're doing. Well, thank you guys.
And I did tell them that if they needed to head back down, that they wouldn't be offending anyone.
I'll be offended, but I mean.
That's right. He's got to take credit for your $1 million.
Yeah, I'm going to say that was my idea.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Don, I understand you're going to give us an update on mid-year capital projects.
Ooh.
Just the water, not the computer.
Or the clicker.
I promised Dane I would use the iPad that works so hard to get presenters on here, but it's pretty good. I think I've got one. So we've been a busy year so far this year, so I wanted to kind of give a brief overview of what facilities has been working on, what the big projects are. So we're going to focus on those bigger capital projects, is what we kind of refer them to. But in the background, what you'll see too is a tremendous amount of day-to-day work being done just to keep these buildings going and make sure that this room stays nice and cool as requested. Just a quick overview of a couple projects. We talked about the historic courthouse roof. Many of you are very familiar with this project as we've got to experience scaffolding for about 8 weeks. But what that did was give us a structure on top of what we believe to be 152-year-old metal, a structure that will give us a 30-year warranty roof that is 100% waterproof, can eliminate a lot of the leaks. There was a lot of effort to make this building sound, safe, waterproof, energy efficient, and this really capped that off literally from the top up. So what you get is a product that is 60 mil of vinyl, and it's actually really thick. If you could imagine, it's about a quarter inch, and that is welded in all those seams. It's a very comprehensive application to what was a historic structure that in any other day would be a complete tear off and be months and months. So that's what we avoided there. The Daco wall, this is kind of that, we didn't really plan for it, but we're glad it happened before it got too serious. So what essentially was a design, we really don't know the history. The wall between the Decorative Arts Museum and the Sherman House could be original, as far as we know. We really didn't see any of the internal issues until we started to remove those historic sandstone blocks. That was actually two walls built next to each other. So whether General Sherman wanted to build his own wall or the folks that had built Daco, I'm escaping on that family name right now, Bruce Peters, whether they built that, bottom line is we had surface water intrusion that led to bowing of the wall. So we had to totally take that down, clean it up, pour a proper foundation, and put all those stones back in. And we reused all of those stones that were original to those two walls and created really a very nice one. And then on top of that, worked with the Sherman House and the Master Gardeners to improve their garden, so to speak. So they really put a lot of time and effort in making that garden, updating it and making it look very nice, because obviously with heavy equipment, we flattened some of those plants down, trying to save some, but they just didn't make it time of year. So this project, while unprepared or unplanned for, was something that we could easily respond to and make sure it was done correctly and beautiful, I think. It's a really nice place. Coming up and kind of in process now, we talked about it a lot with the jail security, the barrier fence. That barrier and some of the gates that go along with it will increase that safety and security down there, as well as parking lot security with vehicle traffic. That's in process now. That you'll start to see work on that here pretty soon. We're working through some of those contracted pieces. One that I know that I'm often asked about is our HVAC, our energy efficiency. So we did a huge undertaking this year with more energy efficiency and more controls. We brought on multiple buildings. We're going to bring on even more. So we've really got down to the science of building automation and those controls that control the buildings. In addition to that, and that works with it, is our FMX system. So we've always had FMX. It's many county employees use that on a daily basis. But what we've done now is started to roll that out into a tracking mechanism for individual pieces of equipment. So through our internship this year and hopefully continuing on through other staff, we're able to identify really down to the smallest piece of equipment and track its history, know when it was put in, know its serial number, know how many times it's been serviced. So over 5 to 10 years, my thought is that we'll have knowledge about frequency of replacements and scheduling and really get some analytics-based decision-making on our maintenance. So often not, maintenance is a world that chases their tail and chases the problem, but we're trying to get ahead of that problem and start doing some real planning to create a consistent approach. With these controls, much like you see in the top right-hand picture and this picture, we're able to control individual units. And that's helpful when we're sitting in one place. We can review, currently 9 buildings, soon to be 11, and see if there's any issues that are potentially happening without being in that building. So one person looks at that every day just to make sure that every unit's functioning as it should. One that I would say it's cursed somehow, but the BMV, we got to the finish line this year on the BMV build out. If you remember, this was a general contractor that ultimately failed us and went to a bonding situation. We self-performed the rest of that work. So I'm really proud of our team that they were able to come in and act as the general contractor, act as the really the builder in some of the aspects and some of the trades. And we did make the target date. It was thin, but we made it. BMD is happy. I talked with that gentleman, Elliot, that runs that site for the state, and he loves it. And now the customer service aspect of having BMV and the title in the same location just makes it great for that northwest corner. And Fairfield Center is a very busy and hopping place, as you'll see later today. And we're really excited to see a lot of the growth that's happening.
And thank you, John, because you and your team kept other things on track at the same time while taking this on. I know BMV is kind of like a 4-letter word, even though it's 3 letters for all the trouble that we've had. So thank you for your patience and perseverance.
Yeah, and it wasn't them. They've been great to work
Yeah,
with.
not BMV, just
It
the
just seems like
situation.
it seems like getting that operation moving, and Brandon's not here, but I know he's really happy to see that there's a coordination piece between the two that had been in their offsites. So now with the cost savings, the title being in that location that we own, and now we are a lessor to B2B in the state of Ohio. Workforce, Rick probably sees way too much of me, I think he'll say. Yeah. But
He's enjoying the air here today, I believe.
yeah, that building's another one that we, age is definitely something that inhibits mechanical systems. We're down to just 2 of 19 functioning rooftop air conditioning and heating units in that building. Luckily, they've been on order since early January, and they are hopefully arriving mid-August. And that installation is like a day. We'll be flying the rooftop units in by helicopter and dropping them and installing them and operating them literally same day. So one day it's going to be just like 65 degrees in there. It's going to be happy. But this engineering workforce, the workforce engineering lab, is the current situation. And if you can remember the 3D images that we got from the architecture firm, this is it in 2D. It's hard to see some of the details, but I encourage you, if you get a chance to stop out. Drywall always helps a project kind of get its scope and its feel. And they've been drywalling this week, and it really kind of sets the barriers and the walls and kind of feel the space a little bit more. So I know it's been a big change for people, and people are getting very excited out there. We do have a couple, or probably about 2 more months on that project, but we're staying on track. Everything looks to be right on base. The few changes that we've had are increases that OU are seeing as their goals change with some of their programs related to the vacuum clean lab.
Specifically the semiconductor lab, which will lead toward Jobston. Intel, it's still new to everybody, so OU's learning more and more, and thank you to John and his folks for being flexible and making adjustments.
Yeah, they're a great group of folks, and they're trying to figure out equipment that works, and they have to buy all this equipment because it's such a new industry to work within. So we're chasing them with electrical and infrastructure support. Also in this, we'll get additional classrooms, the water wastewater lab, its own dedicated space, and a really nice common area for folks to hang out, do some schoolwork. Rick to master pickleball. Getting there. You might beat Danny one of these days, I don't know. But I encourage you, it's taking shape out there right now. Jason's been helping a lot on, really leading. I just sit back and watch. But the salt barn, this is our upcoming big project that's going to see a real big piece of equipment or a big structure go up. That's something like what it will look like. It's a hybrid of a fabric covered foundation, which is really the best practice for salt. Hall Justice flooring, we should be seeing that here in a few short weeks. That's going to be an undertaking, but we've gotten lucky again with a company that specializes in moving furniture while they lay carpet, which is unique. That's been an interesting, fun project to make sure that we get those needs met in Hall of Justice. Looking forward to Colony. 24, I'm calling safe and warm, but it's really just trying to make sure that the building itself is safe and we can get in there and we won't have roof leaks or some of the other things that have occurred in the past. Making sure that we have appropriate HVAC as we go ahead.
And parking lot too, right?
Parking lot. Want to get that parking lot done. There are some craters out there that we want to make sure people don't lose their vehicle.
Bailey's nodding.
I'm sure, yeah. Workforce phase 2, we're really hitting the ground running on some of that build out for the medical labs. We've seen medical labs at Sinclair College, Hawkins College. So this is respiratory therapy, I'm gonna get it wrong, SDNA and phlebotomy. And I think we actually had a eureka yesterday on the design. So we'll be sending that over to architecture and getting them to really draw that out and scope that space out. We should start construction in 25. 239, we're updating some of the restroom pieces in there. Interestingly enough, 2025 is the 25th anniversary of 239. So AEP built that building. We've found some really cool pictures of it going up, some black and whites that will, and I think Corey wants to do some recognition of that building being 25 years old. But with that, in my world, comes end of life. A lot of systems. Things that are getting used constantly. We're seeing some issues that come up with that type of age on any building, as well as the use. And then excitingly, we've got a grant to convert that building to all LED at no cost to the county.
Yes, I have a question. Memory's imperfect, of course, but you're seeing the AEP building or the Job and Family Services building was built in.
No, not 25.
It's 89, so it's the
35.
anniversary of JFS
Oh, but
building.
the building is 35.
Yeah, 89, yeah, I graduated
The
35.
building is 35. I'm sorry, JFS has been there 25. That's the recognition.
That's better now.
I lost a decade there.
I know, I'm sitting here thinking, God, where's my head at? I can't believe I'm.
And before anybody comments, I was alive.
And you know, what's really important, AEP building, replaced all the foundry with.
Yeah.
It was such an improvement, the city like.
These black and whites that they took through construction, through steel, I can't wait to share them. There's literally like 120 of them. It starts at that beginning process, and then right across the street was still the Lancaster glass. So you could see that corner, what it looked like in 1989, and it's amazing how much of a difference it's right now. So, with that, we'll be upgrading those lights in that building, and then going into 2025, obviously we talked about Colonnade and how that's going to hope to shake out to be a really exciting place for Fairfield County. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
We learned on that in terms of potential grant terms and conditions. Have those come out yet?
Not yet.
We're expecting those any minute.
They seemed like they were moving pretty quickly on that with the communication and regulation.
Saw something about mid-July in terms of OMB having the terms and conditions.
Check your mind.
But you know why I'm asking, right? Okay.
With that discussion on 239, we've looked to kind of start the process and we've had some roof leaks this year. We have an estimate on repairs to that roof structure. But really what we need to be looking at is not chasing our tail and getting ahead of that. The life expectancy of a normal rooftop unit, as we discussed at Workforce, it's, there's some estimates. ASHRAE is a material testing organization that will tell you these rooftop units are about 10 years past their life expectancy. So we want to start planning for that purchase because it's going to be a large purchase. Obviously, a lot of annual parking lot maintenances that people see, and then we have some building envelopes that we'll tackle in addition to the many other projects that I'm sure will come about in the next few months. But I just want to hit some of the highlights and see if there were any additional questions about what we've been doing.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
For Jason.
Yeah.
So the salt barn, that has the fabric cover. So what's the life of that?
It'll have a 30-year warranty on it. So those trusses are on 16-foot centers. They say that's the optimum width for that fabric that's going to kind of allow that 30-year warranty on that. The company that we contract with will provide a lot more of those details when we get there, because we're asking for a bright span L8 style building, which is a lot like that, or an approved equal. So if there's a different manufacturer of that building, we'll have to get that warranty information and stuff from them.
And that's an ODOT spec that we're following. So this isn't these are built all over Ohio by ODOT. We're just kind of adapting that same thing.
Then I can absolutely see why you have to use that type of material.
Yeah, we're excited about having that. It's going to be great for us, for sure.
Yeah, the corrosivity of the salt with keeping
Oh, yeah.
the older metal structures, it's just, And the engineer's office has done, they're already prepping the property, it looks ready. I mean, they are doing as much as they can to make this project go off without a hitch. There are just certain things that we have to bid with the concrete work and then purchasing the structure itself.
So, John, you have been in this dual role of EMA director and facilities director all that long.
2 years officially in August. Yeah,
But I would have to compliment you. Definitely.
appreciate that. It's been a lot to learn,
Yeah.
drinking from a fire,
Yeah.
but I'm used to that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else? That was the easiest one I've had all along.
Good job, John.
Thanks.
So now we have the time of public comment. If you wish to do so, please approach the podium and give your name and address and limit it to 3 minutes.
Good morning. I'm Josh Berry, 5320 Canal Road, Pleasantville and Walnut Township. Most of you guys know who I am in regards to Eastern Cottontail. Kind of how my operation is in sorts of jeopardy with this project. I've got over 100 acres of farm ground that borders directly to this place. Out of all the operations, that's call it my home place, because that's where it all started with generations ago. So I've got multiple reasons to be concerned, but you guys know the details of that, so I'll vary from that. But it kind of leads me into what I'm about to say here. So over the past several weeks, you've heard from others, especially like me, whether they're families of other property owners that live nearby or other farmers that live nearby this potential site, or other business owners who live and work and raise their families in our county. We are invested in our community and want what's best for the future, ourselves, our children, our businesses, and neighbors. We're grateful that you guys took the initiative to create an exclusionary zone prohibiting the utility scale projects on the unincorporated land in our county. But we've also learned that you can help us further by specifically prohibiting the Eastern Cottontail Solar Project. However, we understand that it's grandfathered. Your prohibition wouldn't prevent the project from being approved, as obviously that lies with the Power Siting Board. But we feel by specifically prohibiting Eastern Cottontail, you would send a clear, consistent message to the Power Siting Board that the people of our county do not want our county's resources, our finite resources, and namely our beautiful and highly productive farmland to be used for utility scale solar project. Our grassroots group sees no reason not to create this resolution, as it will cost the residents of our county nothing to do so, and will further strengthen our position on that big solar is not in the best interest in Fairfield County and in our township especially, and so many of what could be catastrophic effects to all the neighboring properties that join this place. So, with that said, we appreciate everything you guys have done so far and your willingness to listen to us and whatever we have to say. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to make public comment? Thank you, folks. Amy, anything on legal? Bonnie?
All right. Yep. Thank you, Commissioner. We'll jump right into our resolution review, and the first one that I'll point out here is we chatted last week that Dr. Sanel Bach was unable to complete her term that you had just very recently appointed her to with the Adam H. Board. And at that same time, you had interviewed Ms. Bailey Blevins. She was also interested in serving. And so there is a resolution on for you all today to appoint her to the uncompleted term of Dr. Bach, the Adam H. Board. And I believe Marcy Fields is online joining as well. Didn't know if you guys wanted to have any other conversation with Bailey prior to the resolution passing today, but appreciate your willingness to serve, Bailey.
Share a thought with you. I thought the decision point in making the last appointment that didn't work out was incredibly difficult. Skill sets and different things that y'all brought to the table in my mind's eye were so incredibly close. And when we went a different direction on that, I didn't feel very good about it because I like you so much. And I just wanted to express that to you and let you know that I am thrilled with this turn of events.
So I just, before the meeting, got a chance to thank Bailey for her continuing willingness to serve, right? It's a volunteer board. So folks like you who pledge their time and their talent, it's a big deal. That board is incredibly active and has a lot going on. So appreciate your willingness to be a part of it.
You know, we must say the same thing, less words. Thank you. Thank you for your willingness to serve because, you know, it's especially the Adam Board, it's a big deal. So thank you.
Not sure that was less words.
I'm not sure it was either. I think that was.
It's okay. Yeah, finished it.
All right, thank you, Bailey. We also have a resolution approving appropriations for a grant match for major crimes, a resolution to approve the renewal of a service agreement for common pleas court with Sentinel Offender Services for electronic monitoring of offenders, resolution authorizing the establishment of a new fund for a new community reinvestment area. Anything on that, Rick?
So we have a developer or a company get a CRA with us. They're required to pay a same fee. So DHL sends us $2,500 a month. That's part of their. It's more than that, but that's their CRA payment. So.
Thank you. We also have two resolutions from EMA authorizing the repayment of advances, one from a Homeland Security grant and the other from the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio Grant Fund. Anything there, John?
Just thank you again for the support.
Very good. And the next one is yours as well. Facilities resolution approving a contract amendment for Steve Hammond Paul for the engineering lab. I think we touched on that.
Yeah, as reference for the semiconductor lab.
And then the sheriff's office does have two agreements for security services with Canal Winchester Schools and Fairfield Union Schools. Art, budget review.
Yeah, just an update on sales tax. We continue to hold the $30 million sales tax in the budget. The July preliminary sales tax came in slightly below the forecast at around $6,000. Our July non-auto was up 1.1%, while our auto was down 11.1%. However, we did have an extra week in the data from 24 to 23. June to July forecast model was down about $42,000 of the $17.1 million June to date budget. June through July non-auto is almost flat, while auto is down 5.5% year over year. So,
Any questions on that, commissioners? All right, thank you, Bart, for that. Rochelle, calendar review and invitations received, please.
Thank you. Under calendar review, there will be a meeting of the Family and Children First Council on July 18th at 8 a.m. at the Fairfield County Ag Center. The Lancaster Fairfield Community Action Agency Board of Directors meeting is July 18th at 11:30 a.m. at the Recycling Center. The following invitations were received. A webinar by the CCAO and Ohio Department of Children titled Addressing Ohio's Child Welfare Placement Challenges. That webinar is on July 25th at 11 a.m. Fairfield County AG update is August 15th at 7:30 a.m. at the Fairfield County Ag Center. A Young Professionals Development Workshop will be held August 20th from 12 to 4 p.m. at the Long Haven Retreat. Commissioner's Office received the following correspondence. 2 press releases from the Auditor's Office. The first on July 19th, titled Fairfield County Auditor's Office Releases Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. On July 10th, press release was titled Fairfield County Auditor's Office Releases Popular Annual Financial Report. Press release from the Fairfield County Health Department on July 11th, titled 4 Traffic Fatalities in Quarter 2 of 2024 in Fairfield County. Fairfield County Auditor's Wins of the Week. A thank you note from Stephanie Taylor from Habitat for Humanity of Southeast Ohio. Correspondence regarding industrial solar projects and the Fairfield County Health Department's mid-year report. That's it.
Thank you, Rochelle. That's all, Commissioner.
Commissioner Davidson.
Yeah, I'm not sure where this belongs, maybe not even in our meeting, but I was moved by the events over the weekend with the assassination attempt on former President Trump. And as I watched the news and tried to catch up with all that, I was reminded of a time, it was 25 years ago. I've been in public service for 29 years. I got a call from the city prosecutor's office saying that a police officer was on their way to my office and was going to stand guard with me because a threat had been made against my life. And I remember how I felt in that moment and a little bit of fear probably. But as the officer arrived to stand guard with me until the suspect was apprehended, she later was, died in jail. I wondered where my children were, and I asked the officer, what about my family? And they said that the school resource officers had been alerted and were watching them, and that they had sent extra patrols around where my family was. So I mention that in the sense that I think there's a rush right now to say, oh, it's the rhetoric and we all have to dial it back because this is a new thing or whatever, but not really. I mean, remember when Reagan was shot and somebody tried to kill Ford, President Kennedy, but I guess I just wanted to express my sincere thankfulness that President Trump survived that assassination attempt. The political contest to see who wins can go forward, and I can't wait to vote. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes.
Just along those same lines, we talked a couple years ago at the state of the county about political discourse and how we should be able to have vigorous debates with each other on policy or topics of importance. But there's a line there that you just can't cross. Shouldn't be personal, and it never should be life-threatening, right? So, like Commissioner Davis and I know Commissioner Levesey, you hate to see our country reduced to that kind of activity, and hope that the leaders of both parties, as they go through the rest of this presidential election, will find a way to have those great debates about policy, because there are significant differences in how they see the world, without it being a personal attacks or anything violent. So that's all I have.
So, a couple of weeks ago, I had an opportunity, I may have mentioned this before, where Habitat Humanity actually dedicated a house on 6th Avenue. The house was great. It actually, I think, even helped the neighborhood. It looked better. Because what was there before was a terrible house that had to be taken down. This was the replacement. Folks said for the recipients of that house, and of course they have to pay for it. Just had such a need and didn't fulfill that need. Well, so I had the opportunity to attend a zoning board meeting, Fairfield Beach, on a new house being built there. Well, the guidelines for Habitat, a little less than 1,300 square feet. It's about 140 square feet less than what that is, so it requires a variance. And so we went to the variance meeting, and there was some folks there that were opposed to it. I think maybe because it was Habitat. But I think the folks that they place in these houses are well vetted, and I think Habitat just does such a tremendously good job. And fortunately, the zoning board unanimously passed the variance, and I thought that was incredible that they were able to do that. Commissioner Fix, any new business?
Thank you.
Commissioner Davis?
Thank you.
Well, Jim, have you collected all the taxes?
We're working on that right now. In that, I'm still a little bit of Michael Slender from this afternoon. Last week, the drive-through down on Chestnut Street, used by both JFS and also our office during collection, was very popular, very busy. And last week, the air conditioning went down totally in that building, which has no additional ventilation of any sort. The temperature in the building rose in the upper 80s very quickly. But got a hold of John, his crew got in there 2 days, replaced the total system, HVAC, and just did a wonderful job, got it back up and running. I want to thank him for that. He did a great job there. Amongst all the other projects he has going on. So, appreciate it. As you mentioned, due date for taxes is this coming Thursday, the 18th. So if anybody's got any questions, please contact our office. As long as your payment's postmarked by Thursday, you're good as far as being current. Thank you.
President, Mike, please. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. You and I had a chance to talk last Tuesday, even though I was not able to be here because of an illness. And I just wanted to kind of rehab that conversation publicly a little bit. I know you're recalibrating the estimate for investment revenue for 2024. And I've seen some of the paperwork on that in terms of kind of where you're headed on that. No disagreements at all. Just wanted to ask a question on that. And I know you're not doing it today, perhaps next week or something, but if you revise the estimate to 8.7, let's say, in the way I've seen that is you're kind of taking a little bit of a haircut there down to 8.7 just to be careful and conservative, if you will, in that estimate. But in calculating the top line, I don't know, let's call it 9.7 or whatever it was, and then you took the 10% haircut to get to the 8.7, which I appreciate. But I wanted to understand your methodology in arriving at the top line, the 9.7. Was that exclusive of reinvestments? So in other words, as investments roll off over the next 5 months, they might be rolling off at 0.5% or 1.2% or 1.7%. They come off and then they get reinvested. And under current rate environments, reinvested at a higher level. And given some history that you and I have, I might assume that the 9.7 assumes no reinvestment. But I wanted to get your information on that. In other words, did it assume reinvestment or did it not assume reinvestment?
Did not assume reinvestments for the second half because the majority of the investments we buy pay interest semi-annually. So those reinvestments for the remainder of this year, first time we'd see any, since we work on a cash basis. So the first investment income we can see of those would be into 2025. Also, the calculation of that number, working with Fifth Third, we have looked what's on the books with the assumption that there will be no calls the remainder of the year, that this is what's on the books as far as interest income we can anticipate for the remainder of this year.
And the other thing, if I might, Mr. President, I just wanted to say, and I know I shared this with you privately, but continue to share it publicly, the work that you and Fifth Third have done in kind of rolling over the portfolio, getting longer, getting non-callable, that is going to benefit the citizens of this county for years to come. And thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Jason, besides Salt Barn, you guys doing anything else out there, Pete?
Started chip seal operations this week, so tell Rochelle to send all those phone calls to me. And then our resurfacing is starting soon too as well, so those kind of projects.
Deb, I understand you're a cheddar.
That I am today. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I know it's been in the announcements, but I am super, super happy that we're done with our annual comprehensive financial report and our popular annual financial report. That was about 9 months of intensive work with our staff and with the audit team. So super happy that's done. That's great. So I appreciate everyone's input, especially on the covers. We have a very nice presentation moving forward.
Anything going on? Sure there are.
We have a lot of projects that are heading up. Missions that are going in. Development. Five Township, the rest of it. Now we're working with Greenville Township.
Rick, anything going on at the workforce center?
A
lot.
It's building a whole new ecosystem with all the heat there. But actually, our Area 20 Workforce Board, in partnership with Area 11, we announced that we received a $4 million grant with the Department of Labor. So that will be for apprenticeships. So we'll be able to, and it's just us in Franklin County, and we'll be able to add some staffing and help fund apprenticeship programs for a 3-year term. We're still working on all of those details, but working with their friends in Franklin County Workforce led the way in this. Props to Bailey Fields, who helped write the grant for them. Other counties did not want to participate because they didn't think we had a chance of getting this. And we're the only area in Ohio to get it. So
That's amazing. And so how does that work? I mean, how obviously Franklin County, and so how does that share?
we'll still work through that on what that'll look like. but it'll be, my guess is we'll split it up by population or by, number of employers, probably get about 20-25% of that, I would think. But we'll work with them, and we've got a great relationship with those groups there. So we're having a meeting in a couple of weeks to start building.
John, you've said a lot, but if there's anything else.
Yeah, outside of the facilities, things that we talked about, I'm gonna nerd out a little bit here, but, this is kind of one that I think is my coolest one all year. And not my idea, Garrett's idea. Next, Friday, the 26th, we'll be hosting, joining as a guest host for the Twisters screening at Skyview Movie Theater. So we're gonna be going out there with special guests to watch the movie Twisters. You've seen, the sequel to the original, but it's pretty cool. We're gonna have fun. I think it's gonna be pretty interesting time to come out there, and we've invited some other entities to come out, the fire department, law enforcement, stuff like that. Check it out. So if you're interested in seeing a drive-in movie, we'll be there. You get to see me.
So, as a younger person, I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
At the Skyview, there used to be another one down on Fair Avenue, I believe.
There used to be one at Workforce Center.
Okay. I don't remember that.
That was drive-in movie theater.
Historian John.
But yeah, I mean, really cool, just good promo stuff. So
Twister, that's a realistic show.
yeah, we're looking forward to it, and then we'll be putting that on.
That's cool. Dan, anything going on, buddy?
Yes, but his mention of the movie Twisters.
That, oh, yeah.
Room, yeah.
Because you're excited, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was confused that now the new one is Twisters
Two, there might be two.
and the old one is
Six.
Multiple Twisters, not just one.
Yeah. Nothing from IT. We've got some updates in the roundtable in a second. So, thank you.
Heather, I know you'd like to give a speech.
But I will share with you, we said to partner this year with Triple Medical Center. We are hosting the Medical Center for a Festival Bike Race on the 26th. Friday, the Young Kids parking lot. Our first year co-hosting it for FMC and assuming that responsibility.
Good. Well, good things going on.
Mr. President, if I might.
Please.
I was alerted that in my conversation earlier with the transit folks, I used a hypothetical number for purposes of discussion, and I used the hypothetical number of $2 million. I should have used the hypothetical number of $1.4 million with hopes of more in the future.
Hypothetically speaking.
Glad I used that word hypothetical.
Can I also add on, this Friday, we will be hosting artwork from the festival itself at the Record Center. So we will be a site on the art walk, and thanks to Lori Hawk for kind of being our volunteer that signed up to be helpful in that capacity. So it's a nice space. John and his team hung brackets.
Yeah.
So that artwork can be displayed there very easily. The hope last year was that the artwork would remain. I think that is it again. I'm not sure what tripped things up last year, but I think it does add some value to those very white walls. And the festival is appreciative of us doing that. So stop in.
Very, very good. Yeah, I look forward to the festival kickoff. So please rise if you're able and join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Michelle, any announcements?
Just that everyone should counter that the August 6th meeting is an evening meeting. We will remind everybody of that in the next couple of meetings.
Approval of minutes for July 9th, 2024.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Minutes passed 3-0. From the Commissioners, Resolution 2024-7.16.a, a resolution to approve the appointment of Ms. Bailey Blevins to the Adam H Board.
Commissioners, I move items A and B.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President, I'll just revise and extend my remarks from earlier. How thrilled I am to vote on this.
And I don't know if we gave Marcy an opportunity to chime in at all. Bennett, I believe you gave her the ability to chat.
Yes.
Marcy, anything? There you go.
Hey, no, just, we're thrilled to have a new board member and we're excited to get started. And, we'll be scheduling orientation and getting rolling.
Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you, Bailey, for your willingness to serve.
Additional discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Auditor, Payroll. Resolution 2024-7.16.c, a resolution authorizing a memo expense memo receipt for the General Fund 2% administration fee for managing the county self-insurance program, Fund 5376 to General 1001.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Court of Common Pleas, Resolution 2024-7.16.d, a resolution authorizing the approval for a participating addendum service agreement by and between Fairfield County Common Pleas Court and Sentinel Offender Services, LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Fairfield County Economic and Workforce Development, Resolution 2024-7.16.e, a resolution to authorize the establishment of a new fund for a Fairfield County Community Reinvestment Area.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Emergency Management Agency, Resolution 2024-7.16.f, a resolution authorizing the approval of repayment of an advance to the general fund from EMA 2708 FY22 State Homeland Security Grant.
Fairfield County Emergency Management, I move items F and G.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Facilities, Resolution 2024-7.16.h, a resolution to approve a contract amendment between Steed Hammond Paul Incorporated, DBA SHP Architects Incorporated, and the Fairfield County Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Fairfield County Engineer, Resolution 2024-7.16.i, a resolution to request appropriations for additional unanticipated receipts of memo receipts and memo expenses for Fund 2050 for annual inspections in various subdivisions as of 7/10/24.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Fairfield County Job and Family Services, Resolution 2024-7.16.j, a resolution to approve memo expense memo receipt for the cost of birth certificates paid to Fairfield County Health Departments as a memo expenditure for Fund 2072 Public Children's Services.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Fairfield County Juvenile Probate Court, Resolution 2024-7.16.k, resolution to approve additional appropriations by appropriating from unappropriated into a major expense object category, Fund 2036, Department of Youth Services.
For Fairfield County Juvenile Probate Court, I move items K, L, M, and N.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From the Fairfield County Sheriff, Resolution 2024-7.16.o, a resolution authorizing the approval of a service agreement by and between Fairfield County Sheriff's Office and Canal Winchester Local Schools.
Fairfield County Sheriff, I move items O, P, and Q.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. South Central Major Crimes Unit, Resolution 2024-7.16.r. A resolution to appropriate from unappropriated in a major expenditure object category for 7800 South Central Ohio Major Crimes Unit, Fund 7830, SF 8338 DLEF grant.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Payment of bills, Resolution 2024-7.16.f. Resolution authorizing the approval of payments of vouchers without appropriate carryover purchase orders and the cash disbursements for all departments that are approved by the Commissioners.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? Call, please.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. The next regular meeting is scheduled July 23rd at 9 a.m.
So, we'll be going into executive session, and before that, is there any additional item to come before the Board of Commissioners this time? So, after we have a motion to go into executive session, we intend to return to review, and we don't expect any additional business to be conducted at that time. Commissioner Davis?
Yeah, before I make the motion, I guess I want to make sure I get the right guest list. Prosecutor's office, but is there outside counsel on this yet? So we're going to have the county administrator, the deputy county administrator, the commissioners, representatives from the prosecutor's office, and who else? Clerks.
Second.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss pending or threatened litigation. That session, I'd like to have the commissioners, representatives from the prosecutor's office, county administrator, deputy county administrator, and the clerks.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
Have that